There we go. Well, welcome to yoga, everyone. Yeah, welcome to yoga. It's good to have everyone here. If you're new with us in your home, just find yourself a sturdy chair, something that's not going to tip over when you move around, and we'll do everything in the chair today. So we'll go ahead and get started. We just start out by settling into our chairs, just kind of putting your mind in the moment that we're in and your body's resting, letting your chair take its weight. Just let your hands be loose, not grasping anywhere, just everything as relaxed as it can be. To start out with. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. If not, that's okay. You can just kind of let your eyes look toward the floor, and that way at least your eyelids can relax. And then you also want to take the tongue off the roof of your mouth, let your jaw relax, and relax the place between your eyebrows. Let it get nice and soft there. And we'll just start out by noticing how we feel today. Notice your body. Do you have any places where you feel pain, where you feel stress or tension? And we'll work on those places during our practice. And then also notice your breath. Does it feel smooth or forced, relaxed, or stressful? And also just take a moment. If you have anything on your mind today, you just give it a moment's attention. Not judging good or bad, just give it some attention, and maybe that'll be something you can set aside for a while. And then we'll start to change our breath. Let the breathing become more deep, making sure to breathe all the way down into the belly. So if you want, you can put your hands there so you can feel the belly expand. We'll breathe in through the nose if you're able. Feel the belly expand, and then we're going to slowly exhale either through the nose or through the lips as if you're blowing out a candle. So we inhale, and then we're going to try to make our exhales a little longer, up to 5 counts long. You can count and do this at your own pace. That will help your heart rate to slow down. And again, help us get into our yoga practice frame of mind. So just at your own pace, inhale, feel the belly expand, and then slowly exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue that for a few breaths. If you're new to this and you get lightheaded during the deep breathing, just return to like your normal everyday breathing and let that pass. You are in your chair, so there shouldn't be any danger of, getting too dizzy and falling or anything. But that may happen in the beginning when you're not used to taking a good deep breath. If you cough, of course, if you're here, we have water outside the door, and then at home, you could just get up and get a drink of water. So, in just a moment, we'll move into our stretching and strengthening. So, we'll want to have both feet on the floor for that, and you want to just be sitting up nice and straight, feet parallel to one another, about a hip distance apart. And we'll start by checking our posture. For this part, we want to be sitting up nice and straight. We're going to pull our shoulders up toward our ears and then just bring the shoulder blades together and down your back. And then, adjust a little bit. You don't want the chest to be too far forward, just kind of a neutral spine. And then we'll start out today with a little airplane. We're going to bring the arms out about shoulder height and then just kind of pretend like you're flying your airplane. Like you're a little kid running around flying your airplane. And then we'll stop with one arm up, stretching really as tall as you can get it, and then stretch the other arm down. Then we're going to lean toward that lower arm, stretching this side. And you can look at the floor. You can look up under your elbow. You can look at me, whatever feels best to your neck. We'll inhale up. Exhale the other arm down. Again, stretch really tall. And then lean. Inhale up. Let's turn the palms away from one another and then slowly exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we'll bring the arms back up about shoulder height and we're going to do some small circles. And then we'll flip the palms over and circle in the opposite direction. And then we'll bring the fingertips to the shoulders. We'll do some big circles. And then reverse. And now we'll release the arms. We're going to just shrug the shoulders a few times. And then we'll circle. And then let's reverse. Good. Now we're going to inhale to open. Exhale like you're hugging a beach ball. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. This time we're going to hug our knees and really exhale all that you can. And then you can breathe until you're ready to reach toward your ankles. And then we're going to inhale up. Turn the palms to face the back of the room. And then slowly exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then let's just bend forward and kind of scoop up. Inhale up. Palms to the back of the room. And then slowly exhale. Good job. I'm sorry. So I feel like my heart is racing, but also I want to yawn. So I'm all over the place today. All right, let's loosen our necks up some. Let's start with just nodding. I think I finally finished the coffee that I had this morning. That's probably why my heart feels like it's racing. And then we'll say no. Good. Now we're going to bring chin to the chest. Just stay here a moment and feel the stretch in the back of your neck. And I've already got Helen yawning now. I see it's like the two of us are like, if one yawns, the other yawns. It's just like every time. Okay, so now you're going to let your chin follow your collarbone and look over your shoulder. Remember to keep breathing here and then just move with your breath. Move on and inhale or exhale. So we'll move back down, chin to chest, and then we'll do the same thing to the other. And then chin to chest again. And then you can come to face me, and we'll let the ear come toward the shoulder on the same side. And you can extend the stretch of your neck by maybe extending the arm that you're leaning away from. I've got that kind of at a 45-degree angle. I'll do it this way so you can see it. And while you're doing that, you may just put a little weight here or massage. There's just other ways that you can help loosen up those muscles that tend to get really tight. And then we'll release and do the same thing on the other side. Remembering to breathe. Breathe deeply. Good. And then we'll release and we're going to windshield wiper. Good. Then we'll come out here and to go post arms. We're going to inhale and then exhale to squeeze in front. We'll repeat that several times. And then we will do conductor. I'm so sorry. Oh, good. Now, if you need to kind of do your shoulders again and loosen them up, feel free. And then we'll rest our elbows against our bodies and we're going to work on our hands. We'll do claw first. And I like to do my feet at the same time, so you can do that if you like. You just squeeze every muscle in the hands and maybe the feet. Inhale. And then exhale to release. And then we'll repeat that a couple times at your own pace. Inhale and then exhale. And then we'll touch the thumb to every finger. Good. Now we're going to circle the wrists. And reverse. And then let one palm face me. Pull the fingertips back. Stretching here. And flip the palm over. You can press down on the top of your hand or just gently pull your fingers to stretch the top of the wrist. And just shake that out. And then other side, I say this pretty often, but in case you're new, some of these exercises are really great to do just sitting at your desk, especially if you type a lot, write a lot. I find myself doing this one a lot. It really helps. And then flip over. Just give yourself a little break from time to time. and then just shake that out. Okay, we're going to move down to the lower body. Remember, everything that we do today is more likely to happen on the low body, but some people do have shoulder issues, especially, the longer you go in life, the more likely some of those joints are going to be a little bit worn out. So you have to be nice to them. But I'll remember to say it now, no pain and no strain. So you may feel like you're stretching yourself a bit as far as your abilities, but don't do anything that hurts. If I do something that hurts, you can go back to breathing, or you can do any kind of movement really that feels okay to you. We're going to start out just jogging. Good. And now we'll do some leg lifts. So just keep one leg bent. Extend the other leg. Knee stays soft. You can bend your knee as much as you want. Just don't lock it. So we're going to lift and lower. Anything that we do on the legs, I try to do 10 to 12 repetitions. I don't always count them. So, it's just kind of a good rule of thumb. Let's switch. You want to keep your foot flexed when you're doing these. Okay, and now we'll do some sit-ups from the chair. You have some choices here. You can hinge forward or you can twist and lift your leg. I'm going to twist so you can follow me if you want to do that. I usually do all of my repetitions on one side first so that I can make sure I'm keeping good form. I'm not pulling at my head. If you tend to do that, you can do like Miss Doris here in the front row and just put your hands out. Let's switch sides. And that way you're not tempted to tug on your head and strain your neck. Good job. Now, if you feel like you've kind of bunched up your sides, you can do a little airplane again. Loosen those back up. And then let's do one more set of our leg lifts before we move on to the next thing. So just like we did before, and switch. If you're, everybody has to switch this time. And then we'll go to the sit-ups where you have a choice. I will twist. So you can follow me if you want to twist. Not pulling on your neck or head here. Then I'm going to switch sides. And then if you need to loosen up, feel free. And we'll go ahead and do some jumping jacks while we've kind of got our heart rate up here. So, just like it sounds, good old-fashioned jumping jacks. Now you can choose to do one side at a time or just do the upper body, just the lower body if you have restrictions. Just make sure you're nice and balanced in your chair. Good job. Good job. Take a couple good breaths there. Maybe roll your shoulders. Loosen them back up. And then we'll scoot back in our chairs. We're going to work on our feet a bit. We'll start with the legs just out straight and we'll point and flex. And then we're going to circle. And reverse. And then you can lift and bend your knees and rest a second. Then we'll come back up. We're going to point our toes and we'll do some scissors. Be sure you're engaging your core here to keep your back nice and strong. I keep hearing a very high-pitched scream from out there in the kids' area. And then we'll bend our knees. Good. Oh, so let's turn now to one side of our chairs. And we're going to go into our warrior. So we'll start out with warrior one. And you're just going to extend one leg, the leg that's closer to me. You're going to extend that behind, toes down, heel up. Knee is about bent at a 90-degree angle. And point your tailbone toward the floor. We'll inhale up. This is warrior one. Then we're going to exhale down, triceps dip, and we'll repeat that several times. Working on the triceps. Getting those nice and firm. Now we'll stop with the arms overhead and warrior one again. Then we're going to windmill down to warrior two. Now here, you can keep your knee bent if that feels more comfortable, or you can straighten it. I don't know what you would call this angle, but you can see what I'm doing here. And arms are about shoulder height, fingertips stretching from one wall to the other. Ribs are stacked over hips. This is warrior two. This is a really strong stance. You want to put some intention into those arms that you're stretching. Don't let them wobble there like spaghetti. And keep breathing. And now we're going to go into a side angle stretch, bringing the forearm above the knee. Look behind you. And you're going to draw an imaginary line down the wall, across the floor, up the other wall. So you're getting a really long stretch here. This is a good heart opener. And you're stretching from fingertip to foot. Whew, really take a good deep breath. And then when you're ready, you can move with the breath out of that just the same way we came into it, back up to our warrior two. Very nice, everyone. Okay, face me. We're going to do horse pose. You can see how I'm placing my hands. So here we're showing lots of things. We're going to bring one shoulder into the space and then the other. So you can feel some shoulder stretching here. You can feel some low back twisting. So feel a little inner thigh stretching too. So there's a lot going on in this one. You can take it as fast or as slow as you like. And then when you're ready, you can meet me facing the other way. That you haven't faced yet. We'll go into that same series of movements. So first, warrior one. And then down into your triceps dips. And then arms overhead. We're going to windmill down, warrior two, ribs stacked over hips, looking out over your fingertips. Take a good deep breath. Then we'll flip the front palm, tip back to peaceful. Don't forget this part the last time. Peaceful. Sorry about that. We were supposed to do this on the other side too. You can go back and do it later if you want. Okay, back down. Warrior two. And forearm above the knee. Look behind you. Draw your imaginary line. I can't say I did that on purpose. We're stretching, opening the heart here, and then we'll move with the breath to come back down and to our warrior two. All right, good. Let us go ahead. Let's do one more stretch for our shoulders before we go back to our legs. We're going to bring the arm across the body. It can be straight or bent. You're going to press in on the forearm or maybe just above the elbow and look over the shoulder that you're stretching. Remember to breathe. Breathe into that joint that you're stretching. Then we'll release and do the same thing on the other side. This will get us a little more warmed up for the eagle arms. Good. And release. So we're going to do our sit-ups first this time. I'll twist. You don't have to twist. We're starting to kind of go back down toward our resting pose. And then we'll switch sides if you're following me. Always on these exercises, you can go at your own speed. As long as you're, everything's feeling good. But you don't have to be in a hurry. You don't have to slow poke. Just kind of do what feels best to you. If you need to loosen up your sides, again, feel free. And we're going to go into our last round of leg lifts. So remember, a knee is not locked. Other than that, you can keep it straight or bend it. And we're going to let the heel rest on the floor, again with knees soft, and we're going to stretch. So we'll inhale to sit up nice and straight. Exhale, hinge forward. Feeling stretching maybe in your arch and then all the way up the back of your leg to the sits bone. Try to keep your neck neutral here. Don't strain it by trying to look up. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly come back up. We're going to hug that knee in. And now we're stretching the quadriceps. While you're here, you might point and flex again or circle. Those are all good things too. Get your calf nice and loose. That's a good stress reliever. And you might also kind of rock around and get a little glute massage. And when you're ready, you can cross that leg over. You can cross above the knee or you can cross lower on the leg if that feels better to you. We're stretching this hip that you can't see of mine. It's the leg that's crossed over. If you want to extend this stretch, you can hinge out like we did when we were stretching the leg, the back of the leg. Remember to breathe deeply in these stretches. You'll get a lot more out of them if you slow down a little bit and breathe. When you're ready, if you've been hinged over, you can sit back up. Place that foot down, and we'll do our last leg, our last leg and our last round of leg lifts. Rest the heel, knee stays soft. Inhale, exhale to hinge. You can hold your chair if that feels better to you. When you're ready, you can slowly come back up. We're going to hug that knee. You can repeat any of the things that we did before if you want to. And then when you're ready, just cross that leg. You get to choose low or high. You don't have to make the same choices before because this is the other side of your body and it may feel different. So feeling a stretch here. You may hinge forward if you choose. Back can, get some different kind of stretching. You might feel it closer to the center of that cheek. Yeah, I feel a little more in my outer thigh that way as well. Take your good deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can slowly come back up and we'll place that foot back down. We're getting so close to our resting. I hope you're feeling really great. Okay, so our next thing is our eagle arms and twist. As I say often, we're kind of in a yoga 102 instead of 101 here now. So if you're new, don't be intimidated. Again, if something hurts, just don't do it. Do something else. So we're going to start out here. We'll inhale. Exhale to twist. So you can kind of hook your arm over the back of your chair. Other arm comes to the outside of the opposite leg. And you're opening your eyes as you look behind. That gives a good stretch to your eyeballs. And then move with your breath. Either inhale or exhale to come back around. We'll cross over. We're going to bend the elbows. And here, you can touch the backs of your palms or you can kind of wind it like a pretzel. This is eagle arms. You can actually do eagle arms with your legs also. I just don't usually do that. It's harder to stay balanced in your chair. But here we are. You'll feel stretching pretty much all around your shoulder, maybe upper arm between your shoulder blades. Make sure you're breathing. And then the last thing we'll do is kind of inhale and lift up a little bit. Exhale. And you're just going to curve down into your lap. Release your arms. Don't feel like you have to hold your breath here. When you're ready to inhale, you can inhale up. Turn your palms to the back of the room and then exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to repeat that. Turn to the other way. So we'll start here. Inhale. Exhale. You might hear a little cracking and popping. And then just breathe as you move back around and cross that arm over. Bend the elbows and touch or clasp. Feel a stretch a little bit differently this time. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale and lift up a little bit. Exhale down. Reach for the ankles. And then we'll inhale up. Turn the palms to face the back of the room, and then we'll slowly exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Now, this is where you get to play a little bit. You can, during this time, make any kind of movement you want to make. It can be something we already did. It can be something you made up. Just anything. Loosen the neck up, back up a little bit. And then we'll finish out together. So when you're ready, just bring your knees apart. We'll cup the hands in front. We're going to lean forward with the head up. Inhale to scoop up. And then exhale, you might imagine some nice cool water flowing over you. Exhale, exhale. And then you're just going to lay back in your chair and think about the way that we started our practice. Nice and relaxed. Let your hands be loose in your lap. You can face them down or face them up. Either is okay. You want to let your shoulders feel a little heavy so that they come away from your ears and are relaxed. And then your arms will start to get heavy as well and maybe even feel warm. Maybe warmth down into your hands. See if you can release all those muscles in your face that tend to tense up and those 11s between your eyebrows, your jaw. Start to slow your breath back down, lengthening the exhales like we did before, so that your heart rate can slow down. And just enjoy this last little moment of peace here in this nice, cool room, away from the heat, away from your worries. Now, whenever you're ready, you can start to reawaken by just moving your fingers and toes, and then just gentle movement toward the core of your body, just waking everything back up. We stand up, but before then, we're going to reach really tall. Inhale, exhale down into a nice hug for yourself. Say something kind. Say something sweet to yourself. We all need that. And then whenever you're ready, you can just give yourself a last little squeeze and release your arms. Namaste. Namaste. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see everybody. You all have a great week. Thank you.